$145 a year more. What did you expect a reaction? I'm going to get some negative reaction on this.
So it'll take a while for people to get information around what I've proposed, and so I did expect that that'll take a little while. So the headline, which I'm sure you will see in various news outlets, will be one thing, but the reality is very few residents will face any increase in taxes or any increase in their car registration fees. In fact, 83% of our residents will face no increase whatsoever. But 100% of our residents would see a significant increase in the number of buses on the streets and their frequency. So if we invest the $10+ million, which is an unprecedented level of investment in MATA that I proposed to the County Commission this morning, we'll be able to produce over 1 million new rides and reduce thousands of metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions. These are the issues of today: reducing traffic congestion, promoting and expanding public transit, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. This is where we have to operate with an eye toward the future and out on the frontier. And we have done all of this, trying to drive this conversation without impacting the vast majority of the citizens. Almost no one faces an increase in their car registration fee or in their property tax. Only those individuals, and they're about 17%, because 83% do not have 3, 4, 5, or 6 cars. Only those individuals that have 3, 4, 5, or 6 cars at their home, only those individuals will face a higher fee. What does that higher fee look like? Their car registration process every year will go from $110 per year to about $250 per year for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th car. Most people in our county, the vast majority, have 0 cars, 1 car, or 2 cars. They face no change at all other than the benefit of public transit, which is going to help to remediate poverty, to get people to jobs, which reduces our crime rate and improves our environment.
So about those people who live in areas where MATA does not serve or serves very small.
Yeah, Mike, I'm not going to do this us versus them. I didn't run for office so that I could divide up our community into different kinds of slices, that there is a slice out here and there's a slice over there. I am trying as best I can to move the needle where the need is greatest. And we all know that there is a high poverty rate in many parts of our community, and that high poverty rate is driven because people don't have access to jobs. And they don't have access to jobs because they don't have a reliable transportation to get there. So I agree, there will be efforts to divide. What about this person over there with 5 or 6 cars and so forth that lives on this street? And what have you done for this street lately? I can't do that. I've got as best I can to keep laser focus on where the need is the greatest, and that is with respect to our poverty rate, with people without job access and who cannot get around the city and get to a job.
So are they paying an extra $145 per additional car if they go over the 2-car limit?
That's right.
Okay.
If you have 3 cars or 4 cars or 5 cars, then this applies to you. Very few people in our county have 3, 4, or 5, or 6 cars.
This will need 9 commissioners to approve, right? It needs a supermajority.
That's right.
Because it's an ordinance?
Operation of state law. So the state authorizes us to use this tool to raise revenue. The state law says that the only way this tool can be used is per an affirmative vote at a supermajority level from the county commission. So it would take a 2/3 vote, which is 9 votes. But remember, we've laid out a plan that will include 5 months of conversation. So we're not going to vote on this anytime soon. We have several months ahead to build comfort level with all of the commissioners. And I think we can do it, but it hinges on not just the presentation today, it hinges on a coalition of stakeholders across our community coming together and saying, let's solve a problem. People have been talking about MATA for years and talking about the drop in ridership, the underinvestment, the emissions. Our emissions offices have closed. We no longer even check for emissions. Our emission rates have grown, our pollution. People have talked about these issues for years. And so if we can build a coalition of people that says enough is enough, let's just solve something, then we can get it done. But that's what it hinges on. It's not the presentation today. It's that coalition of people out there, the Micahs of the world, the Sierra Clubs of the world, the grandmas of the world, the parents of the world, right? I want to be able one day to make sure that my grandkids can retire to Florida. But the only way that's going to be able to happen, that they can retire to a beach in Florida, is that everyone who has some level of influence uses that influence to address the scourges of climate change, the growth in greenhouse gas emissions, and promotes public transit. We're all tied into this social fabric together. And we all have to be working to preserve our shared environment and common causes like that.
Where did this idea come from?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We've been engaged. We've been engaged in this process for over a year. So we've been engaged in this process for a year. So I don't know if there's another community doing anything like this. So.
Do you think your plan and getting more funding for transit will also kind of help reduce ride times, wait times, issues like that?
Exactly. So the plan is to make a substantial, unprecedented level of investment into transit in order to increase the frequency of transit so that people can get a job and get to that job and then get home in time to have dinner with their families. So there's no doubt about it. It's about frequency of bus service. We have 44 routes in this community, and transit picks up about 7 million riders per year. We have demand for millions more. In 2005, we had almost double the number of riders we've had today. But we've had underinvestment over time, and so it is to expand the number of riders and increase frequency. Of the 44 routes, we have way too many routes that only run once an hour. That's not a usable service, a usable, reliable service for many people that need to rely on that service to get to work. And so we want to reduce that time, service time, down to every 30 minutes in some cases. And in some cases, we want to be even more ambitious and reduce the time you wait to 15 or 20 minutes per bus.